So we're gonna get started on our next project here. It is replacing both of the rear U-joints, or both the U-joints on the rear drive shaft. I know one of them has a tiny bit of play, not enough, but I'm getting some weird vibrations, and this is usually the best first start. And I thought this was worth noting. So the U-joints I'm gonna use I got from Trail Gear. Japanese U-joints. They come with a grease fitting in them. So it's got the C-clips and the Zerk, but I guess I can open this guy up. It's got the grease Zerk in the middle. Whereas the Toyotas, these are genuine Toyota parts. Let's see, is that, yeah, that's right side up. The new ones are not. There's no grease Zerk. If anyone's curious, they still have all the holes for the grease passages. They just removed the Zerk. I think it was on Tacoma World. I was doing some reading. It was because people kept breaking them because they wouldn't grease them. I don't know what to believe, but either way, it's the same U-joint just without a Zerk, so you could, in theory, tap it. I'm keeping these as spares for trail replacements. Since they're non-greasable, it makes more sense to me. And when I realized that, I went ahead and went to Trail Gear, so if anyone's curious, there's a Trail Gear part number. It does come with a 90 Zerk, so that'll go in the center, right there. 90 will come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the rear drive shaft removed, and we will pull the U-joints. 14 mil. Right. So this came out easy enough. All the bolts came out. Again, I had this out to do that rear third member. You can see there's my paint mark. Splines all look super good, super clean. So yeah, going to try and hit this out. I don't see a C-clip up there. I'm gonna take a pick, clean this up as best I can. Maybe see if I can get some PB down there, and then just whack it with a hammer. And we'll see what happens. So C-clips are on the inside. Push those out. If it's as greasy as mine, you'll forget about that. You'll bang on it for a little bit, and you'll look like an idiot, but did eventually find them. So much grease in here, it's hard to see. So we're gonna find this other C-clip, and we're gonna pop this piece out first. And we will go from there. Now, we cut it. All right, I honestly forgot to record this part because I struggled and I had to look it up how to do this a couple times. So I was using a punch to go through here and push the other side out. That's not ideal. I ended up doing a little bit of damage to the ears, not too worried about it. So instead, I threw this piece in my vise. I grabbed it by the wings. You can see I started to push this one out a little bit just to get it loose. Grabbed it by the wings, so it was sitting in my vise like this, and then I hammered on top of the wing. Not ideal. They came out pretty easily at that point though, so they're both out now. This is all good. I'm gonna get that cleaned up and I'll get it ready to put the new U-joint in, but now we gotta do this one, which I will record my struggles. So here we go. So the camera shut off, I shattered it, but I got it out. I shattered the cup. So what happened is it kept swinging into my vise. So I took a little bit of DOM. I tossed it in between down here and rested one of the ears in it. And I was able to hit it out. So now, should be able to smack it through and hit the other side out. In theory. There we go. All right, now I need to push that out. It's gonna be test. And needle bearings go everywhere. Well, it's done. It wasn't pretty, for sure. But I'm gonna clean this up, all this up with a wire wheel, get all these needle bearings out of the way, throw all this out, and then we can go on to installing them. Not too bad. Got them mostly cleaned up and gonna grab the new U-joint and start installing it. All right, so got the end caps taken off. I'm going to throw a little extra grease in those. That's called a trunnion, not sure. Got this piece, so this has a center grease zerk, so I'm not worried about which one of these end caps lines up with the other grease zerks. It's going to have a 90 in it. It is what it is. So yeah. Throw some extra grease in here that I have in a grease gun, and we'll start getting these installed. All right, so got the end caps greased. Got this sitting in a vise. Throw the trunnion in. This actually comes with a bunch of grease in it. Take a look, make sure everything looks okay. Put that up there. These in. Gonna give it the old flip. And do the same thing over here. Make sure everything's lined up. Moves freely. Alright, both of those are in. Alright, so things came back apart because I faced this grease zerk in towards whatever this other piece is. I forgot the name of it. So while I didn't have to pay attention to which head I put where, I did have to pay attention to this being flipped the right way, and it was not. So when I wanted to put the zerk in, as it rotated around, it was catching inside there. So that's done. I now have to put it back, put the drive shaft back together. Everything came apart super easy, thankfully. I did notice I had 3 needle bearings sitting in one of the top caps somehow. I'm not sure if that was from when I took it out in the suction of the grease or what, but I fixed those, put it back together. As you can see, it's a little tight, but everything seems to rotate well. So I'm going to get the 2 clips back on here, and then I will go back and get everything else installed. So these are the 2 that came off the drive shaft end portion, and they're fine. So yeah, we'll get going. So here it is all back together. Moves super freely. I've got all the clips in here, and there's the Zerk in the right place. I did go ahead and grease it. It only came out of 2 spots, but I'm hopeful. I mean, there was enough grease in it to begin with, but after it runs a little bit, I'll go ahead and re-grease it again. So rear portion's done. I'm hopefully I can get that front out. It's been soaking with some PB Blaster for a bit. So I'll go ahead and put this aside. All right, got the front out. Kind of like the rear. There's not like a ton of play in it or anything, but since I have the drive shaft out, I really only thought I needed to do the rear, but I have enough for both of these, so I'm going to do both and just get it out of the way at this point. So pretty much the same process as the rear. I'm going to try and do this one a little smoother now that I have some idea how to do it, and smack the wings instead of trying to press down and out, because we want it to come out the top on both sides, and we will see. So things did escalate. I did not get the camera out. Got a little wild with the grinder. I nicked one of the yokes or whatever this is there, but I cut off the U-joint. It just wasn't pushing out. You can see I actually cut off 2 sides. One came out, the other wouldn't. So since I didn't care about the U-joint, I just took the grinder and cut it, and it made life so much easier. Other than that, this side came out perfectly. So now I am going to go through, I have to clean up my table a little bit, clean up both yokes, get the other U-joint out, and then the installation, again, same. I will obviously have to pay attention to the grease zerks. We want the zerk facing in, and I want it rotated facing down with this one. The hope being that when I set that one up, I did the same thing. If not, I'll unscrew it half a turn, and we'll get all 3 in phase, in sync, whatever you want to call it. So I still have somewhere on here, oh, right there, you can kind of see it. There's a white mark, and that is my match mark for the spline. So I'm going to clean this up, put a new mark on it, and yeah, we'll get this all put back together. So got some grease packed into all of these in addition to what was in there. Got both yokes, yoke and whatever this is, cleaned. They're ready to throw them in. So we're going to get these U-joints installed, and we'll be ready to put the drive shaft back in. If anyone's curious, I think I've been at this 2-ish hours, 2.5 hours. You know, that's with a lot of struggling. So this could be a super quick job if you knew what you were doing, or the end caps came out easier. Mainly if you knew what you were doing. So yeah, gonna go ahead and get the new U-joints. All right, so naturally, why would it be uneventful? Obviously it's back together now. I actually ended up using the Toyota U-joint. This one, the needle bearings were unhappy. I put it in once, didn't feel right, took it out, put it in again, greased it, needle bearings looked fine, it wouldn't seat correctly, pulled it out, and there was a chunk of a needle bearing in there. So obviously, I couldn't get that to work. So I threw that one out, got this one in, and went in super well. Moves super nice. All right, just took it for a drive. Everything works well. I think it's a little smoother. Time will tell. We'll see how all of the, see how it kind of breaks in and stuff. But no new vibrations, which is always a plus when you try to fix things. Again, my U-joints weren't terrible. There wasn't a ton of play in them, but I knew the rear had been kicked up and down because of that pinion angle. When I broke both of my upper control arms. So I wanted to replace that, and since it was out, I wanted to do the forward one as well on the rear drive shaft. Probably didn't have to. Looking back, kind of regret I did, because the one that was on there was greasable, was fine. I messed up with the one with the greasable one I had, so it's now running a non-greasable, still factory Toyota, but again, not the end of the world. So that'll do it for this. Pretty short video. Everything went pretty smoothly, and all things considered. I'd never done this before and was kind of dreading it, but it wasn't too bad. Especially now that I've done it once, I could probably do it hopefully a bit more efficiently and without, you know, an angle grinder. But appreciate you all watching.